Hi, this is Roger, thanks for dropping by. Kitchen time. Sunday morning, watered all my pots and came round to this one, lifted it out and thought, it is time. Effectively, new growths are now pushing on, and so are new roots. That's the important bit. So it's important now to get those new roots into something. Yeah? And while we're at it, we might have a bit of a clean up with the older part of the plant, perhaps. There's lots of dead bits on here, but they're all jumbled up. So first of all, let's see what we can do about these. It's this back end I want off here. There's a large tangle of old dead roots here. Now they may come off with the scissors. I might need to get the big stuff. It's like that. You see, it just comes off. Won't even let go of the scissors. You're coming off as well. It's no good trying to hang on. And then we've got a tiny little new growth there that has got some root activity, so we don't want to go too mad in that area. Now there's a site. You see that? Oh, where's my camera? There, on the end of the scissors. That's Ceramis. So once upon a time, this was part of my Ceramis experiment, and I tried that as like a semi-hydro media. That was, didn't work, but there's still quite a bit of that in the base of the plant. It's a clay, baked clay substance. Again, that was a trendy thing for a while. It was all the rage. Everybody said, oh, what marvellous things it was. Well, I tried it and didn't like it. Doesn't mean to say it doesn't work for others. Again, anything that you put your orchid roots in is going to be dependent on your environment and your routines, you know, how you look after it and all that sort of stuff. Oh, by the way, this is the second go at having the camera a lot closer. That might mean that the plant goes right off shot every now and again. You know, the bigger the area I'm covering with the camera, the more chance the plant's going to stay in it and not wander off. So I'll get a lot of these old dead roots off the top of the plant. Serve no purpose. I'm going to give it a clean run, basically. Good start, new start. I think that'll do. See, this big one here could come off, but that's a green leaf. It's a damaged leaf, but it's a green leaf, so for now it stays because it's helping with photosynthesis. That'll do. So this little bit on the end, I'm not sure that's good, but it's growing roots and it has a new growth, so it should push on. So that's what we've got. That's going out. Yeah, it's going out. No point. Right, I don't need to stop and clear up this time, there's not enough mess to mess with. There you go. Right, so that's our plant, that's our coffee. And you too can have a mug like this. If you want. Right, it's going on a mount. Now this is an old mount that basically is not that good. The plant was taken off of here. It's starting to fail as a piece of cork, but that bit's not. That is sound, so that's a good piece of cork. So I am starting to think about using the back of pieces of cork rather than throw them away. Just because the front, you think that's where all the water's been, that's where the moss lived, that's where the damp's been, that's where the rot sets in. Not there. So we'll give that a chance to rot now. You see what I mean? Right, now how are we going to place this? I think we're going to place it like that. The thing is, it's going to grow across, you know, it's got new growths pointing that way and one pointing that way and one in the middle there. So it's tending towards that way rather than that way, and it would look silly like that. So I think that's why I sort of planned on doing it a wider mount than a tall mount, because I think it will spread across that quite nicely. So it's just got to go on like that, basically. My worry is, can I tip it forward any sense? So that's the thing, the roots are there, but the root tips, if I mount it like that, I will break these root tips. So it's going to have to go like that. And some roots, hopefully, will get to the mount, down through the moss. Right. And in this case, the moss is going on first, or some of each probably, some on first, so that it's got something to grow into. Thin, only a little bit, but something for the plant to sit on. And the plant can sit on it. It's not going to stay there any sense. I'll put it on there like that. And then, so let's just try and get some of this ceramics out. Didn't realise it had got so embedded in the base. No, I don't want to damage these new roots, so I'll have to do. But yeah, at the time there were two sizes of Ceramis, tiny and a reasonable chunky version. But you couldn't get the chunky version in the UK, and the postage was absolutely extortionate. The weight thing, I suppose. So I've got some of the small stuff. On reflection, if I'd gone for the big stuff first of all, I might even still be using it. People showed on YouTube quite good success with the large grade stuff. So some people got that to work quite well. You know, the semi-hydro people that liked the idea of, you know, that way of growing, they did quite well out of it. Actually got it going pretty good. I have to go and get some more of this moss too. Of course, we could always get some Welsh moss. That's an in-joke for the people who watch the Sunday video. Right, now this is going to get wired on. So where's my end? There we go. Right. One. How many? 3. 2. Oh, come on, don't mess me about. I've got stacks of this, I really don't worry too much if I waste this. You know, it's not going to get used for bonsai, it's only ever going to get used for this, and there's yards of it. Sorry, meters of it. Doesn't sound quite right, does it? There's meters of it. Yeah, when you say, oh, there's yards of it, it sort of sounds okay, doesn't it? Right. See, now I can hold this, so we're going to go round once there. So I'm just making sure I've got enough to twist behind me. So once there, round, oops, there's a large chunk of moss fell off there. Let's go and get it, bring it back, because that's the bit that will get grabbed hold of this time round. So that's once there, hold that piece, then come back between the leaves by the hook, and come down through there, grab it there. It's the second twist. Oops, so I've got my hook now. There. And then we come round again towards the end of the plant. So sort of there. Without garrotting any of the new growths. Right. So that's 3 turns that have more than grabbed the plant, at least they will have when I pull this loop tight. Like that. And there's enough turns there, hopefully, to hold the moss on. Do you know, I reckon, have I got enough to go round again? I'd like to go round there just for the moss, and I think there's enough. The plane going over. The air show's still on today. We lost a plane, they dropped one in the harbour, and it was an unusual plane because it had a person stood on top of it. One of the wing walkers, a pair of planes with ladies stood on the top prancing about as the plane flies around, and one of them came down. And from the homemade video I saw, I was pretty impressed with the pilot, because basically the plane had failed, it was coming down, and the pilot chose where to dump the plane, bearing in mind you've got an air show. you can't attempt to come down on the land, it's full of people. And the plane had moved away from Bournemouth, effectively, across to Poole Harbour. And Poole Harbour's full of boats. And the harbour was full of people, you know, all the walks and everything. And he managed to put the plane down in a gap between the boats. And obviously, you know, as soon as it hit the water, it upended sort of thing. And, you know, the people were trapped in there for a bit. Well, the lady was strapped to the top of the plane, wing walker. But there was a nearby rib that whizzed over there and rescued them out of the water really quickly. Do you know, I think I know what that is. I think that was the Lancaster bomber, you know, old World War One jobby, prop job. I think that's what that sounded like. Merlin engines, I believe. Anyway, that's my BC Maikai with new growths. We've got 3 new growths here. We've got another one in the middle and a little one at the end. So we've effectively got 5 new growths with some roots that hopefully will now push on. Because it was just sat on some sphagnum moss, so you know, it wasn't getting any food or anything. This will now come in with the rest of the mounts and get fed and watered. So there we go. BC Maikai is back with us. Quite honestly, that is against all odds. I really did not expect that to grow. That spent a long time sat on that moss doing absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. And then it just started to grow, you know. Came so close to being thrown out so many times. It basically didn't get thrown out because, like, this pot was sitting, you know, in with the other plants like that. And all I did was lift the plant out, put it back in and pour some water on the moss now and again. So it didn't exactly cause any hassles, if you know what I mean. So I suppose I ought to have taken the camera outside and filmed some of them planes. But the trouble is, you see, I'm facing south. And although the sun's not out, it's behind thin cloud. It's very, very bright out there. If I point the camera at the planes as they come round, you will get nothing but a silhouette against that bright sky. It won't work. You know, you won't see the detail or anything, so it's hardly worth it. Right, so there we go. BC Maikai, back on a mount now. Don't think it's ever been on a mount, but it is now. But it's obviously had a life, you know. It didn't start its life in the Ceramis project. It started its life before that, went in the Ceramis project, came out, went back in a pot, failed miserably, came out, sat on some moss. Perhaps it will grow properly now and actually get back and produce some blooms, because they are rather nice. See you next time. Thanks for dropping by.